Ten Hag has finally been sacked, and Ruben Amorim is the big bookies' favourite to take over at Old Trafford. In today's video, it's a classic simulation. We're going to put Amorim in charge at Manchester United and see in Football Manager how he gets on. Can he bring the good times back? It's been not the case for the past few managers, has it? So here he is, in charge at Manchester United now, Ruben Amorim. Now, as I record this, he hasn't officially got the job, but David Ornstein and all of the big hitters are saying that he's basically going to become the new Manchester United manager. I have been burned by this before, though. I made a full video about why he would be so great for Liverpool. So I'm not going to say anything negative about Amorim today, because I actually think he's a fantastic manager. How he does at Manchester United, though, that remains to be seen. They can make a mockery out of any amazing manager. Ten Hag had an amazing reputation before he joined, didn't he? And now look at him. We'll be expecting Amorim to come in then and play this 5 at the back system. And we're going to go and simulate his time at Manchester United from this point here. This is an up-to-date database, by the way. As up-to-date as I can make it anyway. It's the start of this current season. So we know that Ten Hag struggled in the first few games here. Will Amorim do a little bit better? And where can he finish? What can he win? Because that's what kept Ten Hag in the job, wasn't it? Winning those trophies. We're going to go a season at a time and see how he does. So without further ado, we can chat about everything that's happening and what I actually expect from Amorim. But without further ado, let's go a season into the future. And here we are then. At the end of season number 1, it is 2024 now. So it's a year behind. So just bear that in mind with the dates. So he has kept his job, and that might be significant. Let's first of all have a look at do you know what? Let's first have a look at where they finished in the league. It's the end of May, so they should be in their final positions, and they finished 7th. Now, this is where I'm like trying to calibrate exactly what my expectations are for Manchester United. If they can sneak into Europe IRL this year, that seems like a good result at this stage. 7th would probably be a good finish. Am I right? Manchester United fans, you'll have to let me know. Or am I understating things slightly? Would this be... I feel like this is about right? They finished 7th. Of course, Amorim has had the whole season here, so maybe a little bit disappointing from him. But 64 points, joint on points with Newcastle. They're going to be in the Conference League next year. Annoyingly, they've missed out on goal difference from being in the Europa League there. So overall, I think this is okay. They have lost 12 matches over the course of the season, though. I suppose they were in... Was it the Europa League that they were in as well? How have they managed to do in the trophies? Okay. Oh, right. Okay. First of all, he's won the Community Shield, so that is significant. He's got a trophy in the bag. Get in, Amorim. Marcus Rashford has been named as the vice captain, and they did make the final of the Europa League and lose on penalties to PSG. That's unlucky. And the top goal scorer in it as well was Joshua Zirkzee. Penalty loss 0-0 in the final. Who did they beat going through? They beat Porto. That's a fun one for Amorim to go and win, isn't it? They beat... There's the other leg of that one. They also beat they beat Sporting as well. So they just go and beat all the Portuguese team. Amorim's former team dispatched 4-1 on aggregate. And then before that, it was Leipzig that they beat as well. So actually some decent teams in there. Champions League caliber teams, a few of those as well. So this is a good run to the final. They did lose though, so no trophy there, but overall a final, winning the Community Shield, finishing 7th. I think it's a solid start without being an unremarkable start, isn't it? How did he, or what did he do, or Ineos do in Kai Rooney is the hot prospect. That is very much just distracting me there. Maybe we'll see Kai Rooney become a superstar in this simulation. I'm not sure. I didn't even realize he was on the game. He's 14. Is this on the updated database or something? Why is I'm going to have to do a video about Kai Rooney. If you want to see that, put it in the comments down below. There is then one last thing to check, and that is the transfer history. Ignore a lot of this, I just want to point out, because this includes everything, including like Ugarte, Højlund, Zirkzee, because obviously that window has just been done, and then he's come in and done some transfers on top of it. They have signed Pedro, the Brazilian striker. That's interesting. David Ram. Now, I feel like this is actually a really good signing. They're going to play him left back, I think. They do need a left back, don't they? Luis Romo, who is a little bit unknown for me. Centre back from Mexico. That's interesting. Maybe because they needed a couple of extra centre backs to play this back three. What do you think about the back three that Amorim's going to play, by the way? Martinez, Yoro, one other who I'm forgetting right now. There could be. They've got I'll be intrigued to see how it does. Finally, Javer Schläger in the midfield. I like this guy as well, actually. He's a pretty good player, Javer Schläger in the midfield. They've spent a fair bit of money, 32 million on him. He's come in and spent, I don't know, let's call this 75 million that he's come in and spent there. So he's not been shy in spending the money. They finished 7th. I suppose we should go another season and see if he can improve on this. Oh, in fact, one last thing. Let's have a look at his tactics. Is he setting up in that back 3? He is. De Ligt was the one that I was forgetting about. De Ligt, Martinez, Yoro as a back 3 potentially going forwards. Eventually, when Yoro's back from his injury. That could be interesting to me. Ugarte's must be buzzing with Amorim coming back in. He turned him into what was a £60 million player at Sporting, didn't he? Mainu as well in front of the defence here. Mazraoui on one side. Maybe Dalot doing this role as well. And then maybe a new left back, or maybe Luke Shaw if he decides to play football at some point. And then Garnacho Fernandez, where he fits him in is going to be interesting. It was the same question that I had in the summer when it was about Dominic Szoboszlai and a couple of those number 10 type players, where he would fit them into the system. Maybe a full proper tactical video looking at how Amorim was set up at Manchester United, if that's something that would interest you, maybe with releasing a tactic that you could use that would be Amorim's United tactic. Let me know in the comments down below if that's something you want to see. Rashford, will he get a new lease of life with a new manager coming in, because he's not been very good recently, has he? Let's go another season and find out how he does in season 2. Oh, and before we do that, I should have probably done this at the start of the video because that's what you're supposed to do. But please do subscribe to the channel if you enjoy the videos. If you enjoy this type of thing, you want to see more, please do subscribe. I'm aiming for 100,000 subscribers. I know it's a lofty goal, but we're on like almost 80,000 now, and it feels like it would be such a dream to make it there. So you can help by subscribing here. Please consider doing so. And yeah, I would really appreciate that. Also, leave a like on the video and leave me comments, because those things also really, really help. Let's go to the end of season 2. Okay, end of season 2. It's 2025 now, and significantly, he still has a job. He has not been sacked yet, which in these simulations, this can happen all the time. Football Manager is almost as brutal as real life club owners in sacking their managers, but he has kept his job, which tells me that he's probably done at least okay. Let's check in. Okay, do you know what? That's not bad, is it? They finished 4th. They are back in the Champions League. Now, Manchester United fans, any other fans actually, 2 seasons in, if he's got United back in the Champions League, I think you'd have to be happy with that. That's clear progression. It's definitely an upwards trajectory, which is what Erik ten Hag was really struggling to do, wasn't it? It's still it's still 11 losses, which is really close to the 12 that they had before, but maybe less draws. 22 wins, 71 points is a significant improvement as well. They're 4 points off the top 3. Champions League football is back. 16 goals from Bruno Fernandes, playing on that wide position that we saw before. 12 player of the matches as well. They've had a good season here, haven't they? Let's check in on the squad. And in fact, let's check in on the competitions. How did they do? They've won it. Oh, wow. Look, Jim Ratcliffe has left twice on one day. I'm not sure what's happened on that day. Did he come back? He forgot his bag. He's forgot his bag, hasn't he? He's come back to get it and left again. But they've got Zakim Tipping in. Jim Ratcliffe, Ineos are no longer the owners here, but they have stuck with Ruben Amorim as well. And maybe that was right, because they've won the Europa League. So they would have qualified for the Champions League anyway. They beat Lazio in the final 3-0. Can I see who scored the goals? Can I see this game? I think I can. It was Rashford, Garnacho, Fernandes leading the line, and it was Garnacho and Rashford with the goals. A pretty unentertaining affair, actually. Just 4 shots on target from United. They scored 3. They've beaten Lazio in the final, though. Who do they beat in the build-up to this one? Semi-finals was Newcastle. Quarterfinals was Sevilla. Round of 16, it was AZ Alkmaar. It's a good win. They've got themselves another trophy. Didn't win anything else, I don't think. Let's just check in on how they did in other competitions. FA Cup, they went out in the 4th round to Manchester City. You can kind of excuse that as well, especially when Luke Shaw's getting himself sent off. And the League Cup, or the EFL Cup, they went out in the 4th round to Chelsea at home. Again, it's a decent opposition. I suppose you can let them off that one, especially if they finish 4th and win trophies, right? So they've done okay there. I want to see transfers. Have they done anything else significant? Can I just see at the end of here? Okay, those were the 4 that he brought in last year. It's updated and got rid of all the other stuff now. They did sell Terrell Malacia as well, which is interesting. They brought in 4 players last summer. Sasha Bowie is a really nice signing for right back. They've signed 2 right back. No, they haven't. They signed Raum on the left and Bowie on the right. So they are going to rebuild the fullbacks, those wing backs that he needs. Jonathan Tah as well for big money at centre-back to boost because he needs 3 of them at a time, I suppose. And also, I guess Lenny Yoro's not developed because he's loaned him out to France here for, oh, well, he's got a loan fee in. He's sold Dallo. I wonder what will become of Dallo, you know, Portuguese right back. Not sure he's necessarily a right wing back, although he's an interesting footballer, isn't he, Dallo? Sometimes he's amazing, sometimes he's laughable. But with the Portuguese manager, will he get himself a second life at Manchester United? Although he's played every game, basically, hasn't he, anyway? They sold the backup keeper, Olte Bayindi, as well. Pedro went back on loan. That's not a great signing, then. They've loaned him to Brighton after... He did play 23 games. Only 8 starts. 8 starts, 4 goals. And now they've loaned him out to Brighton after signing him for 15 million. That's not a great bit of business. And Jadon Sancho has gone to Chelsea. I guess that's the permanent deal after his loan, isn't it? Okay, we're building. We're improving. This is how the squad looks now. Raum on the left, Bowie on the right, Tar, De Ligt, Martinez. Yoro not quite in the picture yet. Maybe when he comes back from France, he'll be a better player. Harry Maguire's still here. Casemiro is still plugging along somehow. He's still got 10 acceleration as well, which I do not believe that. That right there is a lie. He's still here, though. They've not sold a lot of the players that maybe you'd expect them to. And a lot of players... They've listed Javier Schläger already for 14 million. Played him 12 times, started him 3 times, and then listed him... Played him 25 times. A lot of them off the bench. I mean, 23 of the league games off the bench. And now they're trying to sell him. It's a very Manchester United business in a lot of ways, although I think their squad building's been quite nice here. I wonder if they'll upgrade on... Rashford's really good in FM. He's got 24 goals. I was going to say wonder if they'll upgrade up front, but Rashford is actually... If Rashford scores goals, he's really good, isn't he? Let's move on to the end of season number 3 and see if he's still in a job then. Okay, here we are. End of 2026 now, or end of season number 3. It's 2026, and Ruben Amorim, still Manchester United manager. This is now a 3-year tenure. This is a serious amount of time. How long was Ten Hag at the club? I don't know if it was this long. That he was there for, although it doesn't say it there. I put Ruud van Nistelrooy in to do a simulation with him. I actually recorded a whole Ruud simulation and edited it and was uploading it. And then the news came out about Ruben Amorim. So can we get an F in the chat for me, please? Because that was a significant point. Why would Manchester United move so fast to get Amorim in? Just to spoil my video ideas. Anyway, the lost tapes, those will become. He was here for 2 days. Look, it doesn't show me how long that Ten Hag was here, but I don't think it was more than 3 seasons, was it? So Amorim's now approaching that type of tenure, approaching 3 years here. He's won 3 cups, which means there is something else that we have not quite seen in here. What was it? He's won the European South American Club Challenge. Is that the Club World Cup? What is that? He's won it, though, so fair play to Amorim. Nothing else. This year, they have finished 5th, so they've dropped down a position. They've dropped 1 point from their total from last year as well, down to 70. Only lost 10 games, though, but they have still qualified for the Champions League. So do you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world, is it? They're still going to be playing Champions League football next year. I'm intrigued to see how their Champions League campaign went in this most previous year. Oh, by the way, I haven't been checking. Man City have been winning the league every year, which is just depressing, isn't it? Let's see how that campaign did go this year. Champions League not... did they go... They went out to Salzburg in the playoff. That's a bit disappointing, Ruben. You shouldn't be getting knocked out to Red Bull Salzburg. I'm sorry. Especially not in the knockout playoff round. I mean, how did they do in the league phase? Man City have also won it to compound the misery. How did the league phase go? Where did they finish? They finished 10th. 8 games, 4 wins, 3 draws and a loss, which is, that's solid enough, isn't it? But then going out to Salzburg isn't great. FA Cup, they went out in the 4th round to Plymouth as well. Some really disappointing cup results this year, Ruben. And then EFL Trophy, or EFL Cup, sorry, they lost in the semi-finals to Man City. That's a bit annoying. Again, there's another red card in there. It was Bruno getting sent off this time. They've lost 2-0 on aggregate in that one. So 5th place in the league. They had some real ups and downs. This was a terrible run in between March and April, and then a good end to the season, winning all 3 of their games in May. But it could have been a lot worse. They don't win those 3 games. I suppose they got a decent buffer before 6th place here. They finished 5th. I wonder if that might start to irk the ownership a little bit. This new ownership that has, it's not Ineos, it's not Ratcliffe anymore. That's not progression anymore, is it? Did they spend money? They did not spend money. although it's not showing me the money. Let me add a manager just to check this. Okay, so after adding a manager, they did spend some money. They bought Danilo Doake, I think he's a centre-back, isn't he, who played for Union Berlin. They spent 18 million on him, so they've signed another centre-back. He looks really good, actually. A little bit slow, but big and dominant in the air with a really good heading. 27 years old now, 18 million. He played 20 games. Actually started 18 of those games in the league, and he was pretty solid for them. So a good signing overall, I would say. Didn't help them to finish above 5th, though, did it? Let's go to the end of season 4 and see if they can do better in the Champions League. Maybe see if they can finish in the top 3. Okay, still manager, 2027. He is still at the club. He is now becoming one of the longer serving managers in the league, I would probably wager. He is still playing his 5-2-3. Manchester United have finished 4th again. Back up to 4th, so 4th, 5th, 4th in the past 3 seasons. It's not terrible. There you can see the results. Look, they've gone 2nd, 6th, 3rd. This is our first season in this sim. 7th, 4th, 5th, and then back up to 4th this most recent season. It's 73 points. He's getting around that 70-point mark in most seasons, isn't he? It's only 7 losses, so maybe that's a little bit of improvement along here. Garnacho got 16 goals. He must be building into a really good player by this stage. 22 years old, scoring lots of goals. That's good to see. Anana got 17 clean sheets, so they are solid at the back as well. Are they getting themselves results in the different competitions? So if we go to landmarks, Glazer has left. Avram Glazer has left, and there's a new consortium, Patrick Stewart. Is it that Patrick Stewart? Who has come in and they've won a trophy. Oh, they won 2 trophies. They won the Super Cup in 2025. They've also won the Carabao Cup by beating Spurs in the final. 2-1. It's another trophy for Ruben Amorim. He is starting to rack them up a little bit. There's the Spurs team. There's that very familiar looking Manchester United team. He's not changed it loads, has he? You could almost, that is very, I mean, Fernandes playing striker rather than Rashford. Maybe they've just swapped over in this one, but maybe like a false 9 in there. He's stuck to the same type of players. It's getting some good results. 4th in the league, winning a trophy, qualifying for the Champions League again. Oh, they were runners-up. I've just noticed that. I think I said that they were winning before. They were runners-up in the Super Cup the season before last, so that's why I didn't see it on there before. Have they done anything significant in the window? They have brought in Kangin Lee for big money, and then a couple of, I think this is a new gen, isn't it? Maximiliano Villarreal, and Hiroki Ito's an interesting one, on loan as well. Another centre-back. He must be obsessed with, oh, that's a loan. He's obsessed with signing centre-backs. Has he sold any of the big hitters? Maguire's gone. Maguire's gone to Forest. Romo, who they signed, has gone again. And then also Finley McAllister in there. Let's have a look at those different competitions. EFL Cup, they won it. We know that already. Champions League, they went out in the quarterfinals to Liverpool. Oh, they won the first leg as well. They've won 1-0 at home and then been beaten 3-0. They've been Anfielded. They've lost the second leg 3-0 and gone out in the quarterfinals. FA Cup, how did they do? FA Cup, they lost to Villa at home. Another red card, seeing them go out of a competition there. All right, he's building. I said I was going to do 5 seasons. I might need to do more if he's still in charge, but he's got 7th, 4th, 5th, 4th. A couple of trophies in there. I actually want to check him. If we go to managers on here, he's actually been in charge now for 3 years, nearly 4 years, 4 cup wins over that time. Is this enough? Is this good enough? Is this what you expect, Manchester United fans? I don't know. Maybe you'd expect a little bit more, especially if you're going to have to pay big money. I think it's 10 million is the compensation to pay to Sporting. I think he's going to be one of the most expensive managers in football history, right? Because Sporting paid a silly amount of money. I think it was the most ever paid for a manager when they bought him out of his contract at Braga. He's a bit of a sensation. He won the league at 36, I think it was, and then won a league again. He's an unbelievable talent. Are you expecting a bit more of him if he was to come in than we've seen in this simulation? Let's go to our final season and see if he can deliver the goods. And the answer is no. I've gone to the end of this season. It's 2028 now, and Ruben Amorim is unemployed, which tells me he's not the manager anymore, is he? Let's see what happened. He was sacked. Oh, he's sacked like last week. The 16th of May, he was removed from his job. And the last thing that he won was this Carabao Cup from before. So he's not won anything else. He was manager of the season in the Northwest. So put that one on the mantelpiece. You never sing that, Northwest manager of the season. Since then, though, it's not gone great. Manchester United have brought in nobody. I guess it was 2 weeks ago, wasn't it, when he was sacked? They brought in no one. They finished They finished 7th, I suppose. He must have finished the season off. He was sacked on the 16th, so he did finish this entire season after not winning loads of games since the turn of the year here. They finished 7th. It's dropped back down to where they started all of those years ago. After season number 1, he finished 7th. He's got less, but 60 points. It's gone way down. He's getting about 70-ish in most seasons. It's not a good season, is it? If we go back to that schedule, they've gone out in the Champions League to Villa. They've lost in the FA Cup to Sunderland on penalties. And they've lost in the EFL Cup to Manchester City again. That's not a great season. Did they spend money? They added a couple of extra ones. Abel Ruiz was the big money signing up front. He's already requested a transfer and wants to leave the club after only playing twice, both off the bench. That's again not good business. It's all come crumbling down, hasn't it? It was looking so good when they were finishing 4th and winning things. It comes to an end in the way that a lot of Manchester United managers' time at the club comes to an end, it feels like right now. I think that's where we're going to have to leave our simulation today. I hope you've enjoyed it. A very simple video, but a really fun one to make. I love doing this, going and simulating things and seeing how they do in Football Manager. Let me know if you want to see a proper tactical video about Manchester United under Amorim, and we can actually set it up in Football Manager how I expect it to be. I like to do those videos too. Let me know in the comments for that, and also leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, but most importantly, everyone, have a lovely rest of your day. Catch you next time. Bye-bye.